Hey guys, Ramblin Bob here again with another update with the EB3A by Bluetti. Okay, so I have a whole bunch of questions here that the subscribers have sent me, and if I can answer them, I'm happy to. Anything that helps people make a decision of whether this is right for you, absolutely, I'll do my best. Okay. Oh, before I start, guys, did you see the video that I just put up before of how this little bad boy was delivered? I just wanted to say thank you, Bluetti, personally, for doing really good packing on the little battery, because the UPS guy literally like played rugby and threw it all the way to my door almost. So thank you for packing your equipment very well in your shipments. Okay, so on to question number one. Very simple one, guys. It says, can I add more AC outlets to the Bluetti? Well, of course, you could just use a power strip or one of those little three-way little adapter thingies. As long as you don't overpower the box, you can add a bunch. Now, just keep in mind that when you add more of anything, of course, you want to keep an eye on them. You don't want to kind of overdo it, you know, and have like 50 plugs into an extension cord kind of thing, you know, but adding a few more is, I think, totally fine. Okay, question number two. What Bluetti solar panels would work best with this unit? Okay, there's two that I know for sure that would work, is the PB100 and the PB200. One is 100 watts and one is 200 watts. I personally have a bunch of the PB200s. I like them a lot, and I think that would be the perfect fit for this because you get the most amount of power in with the highest voltage that you're allowed to put in this power station. So PB200, that's the one I recommend for this little guy. Don't get bigger than that, because then the voltage and the power is too high that you'd just be wasting it or possibly hurting this device. Okay. Number three, another simple one, guys. Another simple one. Where are the cables for this unit? So when Bluetti ships this, it's a little bit different than the other power stations that I've seen. Like Pecron, when they ship it, their little boxes are right on the top. You know, when you open the box, the cables are right there in the little pouch. Well, this one, if you take the power station out, it's actually underneath the power station. So they put it on the bottom. You know, every company has their own way to ship, and that's just, you know, kind of how they do it. But if you take out the power station and you look in the bottom, there's a little thing that looks like a bag, and inside that bag, it's almost like a cardboard bag. So I understand it can be overlooked, but that's actually not packing material. That's where your cables are. Okay. Let's see. Can you update this with firmware? Absolutely, guys. This is the first power station that I've had on this channel with an app. And the nice thing, I was anti-app, if you want to call it that, because I didn't want more information to go to these companies, and then you have all this personal information floating around out there, and, you know, all this extra stuff. So, oh, and the light still works, guys. It's perfect. So this was a good one. So I'm not a fan of, you know, losing all your privacy of your phone and everything. Now, on the app, there's two ways you can use it. You can use it offline, which means you don't have to get on any network or any Bluetooth. Well, you have to use Bluetooth, but that's a closed circuit. You don't have to go on any website, any online thing. You don't have to contact Bluetti. You don't have to sign up a registration or, you know, anything like that, or an account or email or anything. But you can only use that to use the device as far as the basics. You know, turn on the AC, turn off the DC, you know, things like that, turn on the light, and, you know, small things like that, turn off the system. But if you want to update the firmware, you have to register your app with Bluetti and download the firmware. And I think they do that for safety reasons, because they don't want just a bunch of firmware flying around out there without verifying and making sure that it's going to the correct system. So that part I can understand. But yes, you can do the firmware, but you have to register your app if you want to do that. Okay, so you have to be logged in to update the firmware on this model that I know. Okay. Number five was, let's see, does this car need to be running, does this car need to be running to charge the unit? Okay, anytime you charge anything from your cigarette lighter or your system of your vehicle, guys, whether it's an RV, a van, a car, whatever it is, always have it running. Always. There's a very simple reason for this, guys. If you kill your battery in your vehicle, you will not be able to go anywhere, and then you have to fix that or recharge that. So anytime that you take energy from a system, make sure the system is running and bringing power in. That's very simple advice, I think. Number 6, we have our own solar panel hooked up and no more charging. Okay, so what I think they're asking, and this one I'm kind of guessing, is they have a solar panel hooked up and it doesn't charge. There's a few possibilities for this. One is obviously the voltage is either too low or, God forbid, it's too high. If it's too high, that's dangerous. If it's too low, it's not a problem. It just won't do anything. But if it's too high, you could burn out this MPPT controller, or you can actually, burn up and possibly even explode the batteries, by overpowering them. The other thing is the polarity. A lot of people overlook this. So when Jackery started putting their systems out and people tried to use other people's solar panels with them, Jackery had a reverse polarity on a lot of their power stations. Actually, a lot of them did. A lot of companies did. So basically what that is positive and negative are reversed, so that way the system doesn't understand that power is trying to get in because the energy is reversed. If that makes any sense to you. Should be a really easy answer, but the polarity has fooled a lot of people because, they hook up their panels, they plug it in, they say, well, there's no energy coming in, what's the deal? Well, you have to have a polarity. If you look on a power pack, here's a power pack. If you look on a power pack, it'll literally say, see that line and then the dots? Well, that's the polarity of this pin. So if this little dots was above the line, that means that the polarity is now reversed of which it is on this picture. You know what I mean? So it's like negative over positive or positive over negative. That just means that the inside pin is either positive or negative, and the outside terminal, which is the round part, is positive or negative, and then they swap. So if the outside was negative and the inside was positive, and then they reverse polarity, the inside pin would be negative and the outside barrel would be I confused myself. Negative, positive, sorry. So positive on the outside, negative on the inside. So basically you have a left and a right and you swap them. That's all polarity is. But use a voltmeter and make sure that your solar panels are hooked up correctly before you try to hook it to a power station. Make sure you know which side that power is coming out of. It really could be dangerous. Okay, let's see. What is the quality of the plastic of the build of the unit? This stuff, guys, this is kind of like ABS plastic. It's very, very durable. I think that you'd really have to bump or drop this really hard or pretty hard to even crack this. Guys, if you go back and watch that video of that darn UPS guy, that's a cat hair. Let's see. Yeah, see, no cracks. So as you saw, he literally launched it up on the porch there, and obviously there's no damage to the unit. Works fine. But thank you, Bluetti, again for packing your stuff really nice. But I think this will last a long time. I really do, because it's very durable. As you can see, you can beat it up pretty good, and that's a nice thing about having a durable thing is, if you want to keep this for 10 years, you want to make sure it looks nice and in good shape for 10 years. So I understand that. I think the batteries of this unit will go before the plastic of this thing would go, unless you really, really throw this thing around. Then obviously it's different. Let's see. How do you, how do you activate the UPS on this power station? Real simple, guys. You plug it in the wall and it activates. If you want to hang on a second, I'll show you exactly in real time. It's very, very simple, but like I said, if you don't know, it's not simple, right? So here's a really long cord. It's not the right cable, but it has the same ports. This is from another power station, and you basically just plug something along, and you just plug it in here. Okay, that side, and then you plug it in this side, and then you open this little guy here, and then you obviously put it in the right direction, and then you'll see right down here where it says DC, and then over here it'll say AC, and then the next one, as soon as this starts going, let's see. Oh, did you hear it click on? Okay, so as soon as it clicks on, it says UPS. That's it. So you don't have to turn on any buttons. You don't have to activate any app things or anything. You just basically plug it in, and next thing you know, you have UPS. It's all ready to go. You don't, was it the old commercial? No, no fuss, no muss. You just plug it in and you're done. So that's a very simple. It is very nice to have a UPS, guys. It stands for Universal Power Station, and that way, actually Universal Power Supply. And what that does is, say you have this hooked to a laptop, and all of a sudden, you know, the grid were to drop, and this would take over like that, and then so you wouldn't lose your laptop if your battery was dead, or your computer or your TV, you know, it wouldn't turn off. If the switchover time is quick enough, and usually industry is like standard right now is under 20 milliseconds, then you don't really notice it. Like you'd see a very, if your eyes are really good, you'd see a very tiny flicker, but most people can't even see that. And then basically it stands for that is uninterruptible, which means it continues from the energy from here and then continues from energy in there until this is depleted, and then it'll charge it from the wall when the grid comes back on. Okay, so let's see. I got 1, 2, 3, 4 more. Okay, it says, how long does the display stay on? Guys, have you seen I have to hit it about every 30 seconds? That seems to be the mark. I always go like that so you can see that the video's active, because my videos don't have a lot of stuff in there other than a couple hands flopping around. So I always like to make sure that something is active, and that way you can see that you know, your video's not like paused or stalled, or you know, your bandwidth dropped or whatever. So about 30 seconds is what I calculated. I'll let it go in real time, and that way you can see it. Let's see. How often should I refresh the battery if I store this battery on my shelf in the basement? Okay, number one, guys, if you're going to store this in a cold, damp place, I highly recommend off the floor. Basements, don't set batteries on the floor. The concrete can actually drain batteries. It's weird. If you have a DeWalt tool and you set it on the ground, it actually can drain some of the energy from the battery. It's a weird thing, but always put them on a shelf. Make sure they're safe, in a safe environment. And then Bluetti recommends that you recharge this and power dump it about, or recycle they call it, once every 3 to 6 months. Guys, I disagree with that only because I've dealt a lot with batteries in my time with deep cell and lead acid and AGM. So there's a lot of different kind of batteries. I always cycle them once a month just because of a habit. So basically, I let the energy sit in there for about a month. And then if I don't use the power station for a month, I completely drain it to a safe low level, and then I fill it back up. And then if you're storing it, guys, for a long time, don't do this and store it at 100%, because it's not good for the battery cells. They'll kind of get worn down quicker. Put this to anywhere between 20 and 50%, and then you can store it that way. So you know, then you can charge it up and then cycle it back down to about 20 to 50%, and then put it back on the shelf every month if you do it that way. I store mine for 30 days full because I like to power dump the energy from the little ones into the big one when I ever need it. So that's what I do. 11 is, can you add more batteries to this thing? Okay, so in my answer is going to be no. But you can jerry-rig a battery to this thing. Bluetti always says that you could put a battery to this thing, but there's no actual hookup that is dedicated for an external outside battery. There is, however, your input where you can basically power dump from a battery. Like say you have one of their big standalone batteries, and you plug it in through the like the DC out, you know, I think it's 24 volt out into this, which is very efficient. However, it's not like linking a battery where they're actually parallel together or part of the same system. You're basically dumping from a bigger gas tank into a smaller gas tank continuously. It's not like it's, you know, using the energy from here going out and taking the energy from the battery and pulling it back in. You're basically power dumping into this system. Let's see. Oh, that's all 12. Okay, well, guys, that was just an update. 12 questions I had from the subscribers. I really enjoy doing the channel, guys. If I have an answer for you, I'll be happy to help. If I don't, that's how long it stays on, guys. If I don't have the answer, we can all work as a team to figure out the answer, to see, like I said, if these are right for you. If they're not right for you, don't buy them. If you feel they're right for you, try them out, buy them. But the only way you're going to know that for sure is to learn about them. So that's why this whole channel was started, and the subscriber family is growing well. And a lot of people, like, I don't have every answer. I know nothing. I know something. It's a possibility of, do I have the education to answer it? And if I don't, we'll all work as a team to figure out what the answer is to that, to see if that helps you in your situation. Okay, well, guys, ramble on, be safe, and then I'll see you again on Ramblin Bob Reviews. Bye, guys.